Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing an inside out fishtail braid, and this one was actually kind of hard for me to figure out, and I'm not sure why because it's pretty easy now that I know how to do it, and it's basically almost the same thing as making a fishtail braid. So if you know how to do that, this shouldn't be hard for you at all. But I'm going to start just by taking a small strand here in the front, and I'm spraying it down with a little bit of water just so that we don't have flyaways. So after you get that first piece, now you're going to split this in half so that you've got two strands. And then I'm going to name these the top strand and the bottom strand. Starting with the bottom strand, you're going to grab a small piece from the edge of that. And in a regular fishtail braid, you would bring this over the top to the other side. With this inside out braid, you're going to bring it underneath that strand and then add it into the top strand. So you've still just got two sections. And then from here, I'm going to take a small strand from the outside of the top piece, and I'm bringing it underneath and adding it into that bottom strand. And I'm going to repeat those steps just till I run out of this hair and all of the hair is in this braid. You'll see what I mean. I'm grabbing a small strand from the bottom, crossing it underneath to the top, and then a small strand from the top and bringing it underneath to the bottom. So this is going to be the last strand I take before I start adding in hair to make it a French braid. As you can see, all of that hair has been used up now. I'm crossing that to the top strand, and then same thing here on the top. I'm taking that all down to the bottom. So now we're ready to start the French braiding portion of this. And it's basically the same thing. I'm grabbing a strand from the outside of that bottom strand. I'm crossing it up to the top. And then at this point, I'm going to grab a strand here from underneath, cross it underneath, and add it into that top strand. So now we're ready to work on the top again. I'm grabbing a small strand from the outside, bringing it underneath, and grabbing some hair from the top and bringing it underneath to the bottom. So that's all there is to the braid. I'm just going to keep repeating that all the way down. And the smaller sections you take, the better this is going to turn out. I'm taking a little bit bigger strands than I probably normally would for this tutorial, just so that it will go by a little bit quicker. The other thing you want to consider while you're making this braid is that it looks good when it's messy. At least that's kind of what's in style right now. So you really don't need to worry about getting everything perfect. So now I'm to the point in this braid where I've added in all of the hair that was on the top and the bottom, so the French braiding portion is done, and I'm just going to continue making an inside out braid all the way to the ends of her hair. So you just do it the same way. You grab a strand from the outside of one of the pieces and cross it underneath to the other. So now that I'm almost to the end of that braid, I'm not going to tie it off quite yet, and I'm going to stretch this out to make it messier. If you want to leave it just like that, you can. It's just your personal preference. But to stretch it out, I'm going to start right here at the bottom of where I ended with the French braid, and I'm just slightly pulling on the edge of those strands. You don't want to grab the whole piece of hair, just grab it by the very edge so that you don't ruin the entire braid as you're doing this. And then how big you want to make this mess is really up to you. So now that I've stretched out the French braided portion, I'm just going to go along the edge of the entire braid down to the bottom and do the same thing. Just pulling those out. And don't worry about getting it perfect. It is supposed to be messy. So I'm going to leave ours about like that, and I'm just tying off the ends with a clear rubber band. There's a couple different things you could do at this point. If you wanted to fold this back over, you could make it an updo like that, or you could wrap it into a bun. And another little trick you can do, if you've got some bumps or things aren't laying smoothly up here on top, what I usually do is just grab a comb and just slightly comb things down, and then if you want to spray it with hairspray you can do that, but that just helps to smooth things out.